morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers program from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, as usual, and we try to add to the knowledge. Very interesting. As I said, I don't know how he does it, but usually he picks something up, even like this, teaching of some 10 years ago, which connects to the teaching of today. How it happens, I haven't found out yet, but somehow souls link things up. Today's teaching is about plasmic connection, how plasmas connect, and how we connect our lives to the past, to the future, and how what we thought in past few weeks gets an additional extension of understanding. What does this mean? We spoke for the first time about carbon-13. We have been speaking in the world of science, has been thinking about carbon-14, and they call it the carbon dating, that it shows what time, where the dinosaurs lived and how many years ago and the rest of it. And even our carbon dating is carbon dated because there is a logic, and there is a system, there is an operation in the life of the universe. How the fields communicate. We communicate in the world of the man in the matter state as voice. We communicate as colors, which is again matter state. We dream and communicate in carbon-13, which is line of communication. Carbon-14 is the line of transportation. But there has to be a deeper understanding. If we said there is no more teachers, so we have to learn about everything before the teacher is gone, and we understand comprehensively the process of the creation, that no one can cheat us in the space. We don't get more magicians and people interpreting, because you understand, you do. Rick, can I have a whiteboard? What it is and how we have explained in past few sessions, we're going to extend on this knowledge. The same as what we did with the children. Now you are those children, and you are in that position. 10 years later, what we saw as explaining how magnetic fields connect, and you don't need to go time zero. Many of you now use it. Now you have access to cosmic ray bundles, you have visual lines, and you've seen it in operation. You come to us with a headphone, you just connect us physically to your brain, and we take over through cosmic rays, through world of plasma, we connect, we get you to dream, you call it, but we take a dimension of energies of your brain to different dimensions. So 10 years ago, talk. Now it's a reality with us. This is what I said to even Musk, recent announcement that now his satellites are in operation. I thought, oh boy. When we sat with the Chinese generals some times ago, we put the system on the table. We said, you can talk to other general, you can talk to the president. Nobody will know because you need no satellites. So we are even maybe 50 years ahead of the latest, which is now supposed to be communication between everybody and cost millions. But we build a system. In fact, you have a system. It's called your brain. It's called your soul. You can do that. Once you understand the reality of not cheating yourself. It was coincidence. I was gonna go there, and constantly I thought I've done better, and then the accident happened. I thought I'd go and my mom would be there, and she was there. There's no coincidence, because you have that line of communication, which they have made you think is coincidental. But in fact, it's a part of reality. And we go back to the history. The king had a dream, the guy is going to come and he's going to rule his kingdom, and then he became Moses. He killed everything else because the souls knew the understanding of the time was there. But Go back to the teaching of last week, or the week before. We explained in a very simple language that we all understand that we as people have the capability of extending our knowledge to a different level. What does this mean? Go back to the teaching. We have what we call hydrogen. We have a hydrogen as a plasma. We have a hydrogen as a matter on Earth. How does this plasma converts through steps into matter? Hydrogen in space, hydrogen above us is a plasma state, has no physical dimension. Something happens to it, which we call, in a way, in this process, gravity or inertia of the matter, according to the point. So inertia takes place, and now a plasma changes to two plasmas, which is the strength of the observation and the strength of the existence in tangible level. So the inertia of the space and time changes a plasma to a matter state. This is how we said this in the promise books. When we speak to the world leaders, I keep on telling them, this technology, this science fulfills all the promises of the past, because now we understand how energy is transferred to matter and how matter is transferred back to energy. One on a magnetical line and one on gravitational. Gravitational, time, place and space. What we call in the space of time, inertia at the time, place and position. But what happened when this little boy decides to go rogue and this plasma of hydrogen goes the other way, interacts by the field of itself, and in that dimension and position it creates what we call the universe. In one level now, this becomes what we call the space of itself, carbon 60, and direction of communication of itself to make it carbon 14. But there is another pattern to this, because what we said, go back to the what we call understanding of the back of the book of number 3. Where does this, what we call plasma of time, comes to exist, that in its direction and in its position we become aware of another cycle of life. What does this mean? This means that we have become educated. Somehow I cannot control the drawing, Rick. You have. I'm trying to annotate. Just lost it. So I tried to get it back.
I'm not sure what to do there. I didn't do anything, but
No, I think I pressed forward, change colors, and it went somewhere wrong.
must be something, some other button you can push.
Okay, we got it back.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. But we understood that in the cycle of change, in this position, we have no extension, which means a plasma without inertia but plasmatic inertia, which is different than the matter inertia, leads to dimension of the size of and creation of what we call universe, which we know, which we have, which we consider to be part of our work. Here, originally, when the hydrogen went through the inertia into matter state, we saw it as an electron and a proton became matter state. So there had to be an inertia above our universe to lead to the creation of our universe. So we have to find out the inertia, the plasmatic magnetic field of the unicos, that our universe, the same as the matter state was created out of its interaction, with the interaction of itself leads to creation of what we call this matter, or what we call the unicos. So carbon-14 belongs to dimension of our universe, which is this guy. But the interaction of our universe magnetic fields with the original hydrogen fields leads to creation of a bigger strength. What we know, what we call in a dimension of the life of this planet as what we call carbon-16. Carbon-16 has never been spoken about because we never understood it. And again, as we said, in carbon-14 to carbon-12, we have carbon-13, which is a communication line. Then on carbon-15, we see the communication line of the unicos. So when man becomes knowledgeable about carbon-14, then to travel the span of the unicos, we need to go an interaction of the fields of the universes, which leads to creation of carbon-16, which itself creates what we call additional to carbon-60 plus and the rest, which are few months ago I spoke about this, other than going higher than carbon-60. So now we understand the level of stepping down from carbon-16. We talk as a plasma, not as electron and protons and neutrons. Electron and proton and neutrons is in this bottom level, nothing to do with the world of creation of the existence and confirmation of the time and the space. So we are able, when we extend, to say we saw something, it was a strange animal, blah blah, something I saw. Then it comes, now was it connection between your soul of physicality and physicality? You saw a physical image. Then we spoke about the travel of the soul of the man in a dimension of the universe, which is again on carbon-14, and the communication that comes out of carbon-13. Then you have to ask yourself, how much of my dreams, because I'm part of this original hydrogen connection, is with the unicos civilization? And as your inner sanctum energy levels, what we call the soul of the man, is made of carbon, hydrogen, then we see we always had access to the knowledge of the unicos. We most probably, all of us in one stage or another during our life, have traveled to this dimension. But as we are ignorant to the knowledge, we just had a dream. Now, as the science develops, as the technology develops, we can create dimension of field strength in these levels of hydrogen, in interaction of the structure, that the inertia of the unicos leads to the creation of the universe. We had the inertia of the planet, of the galaxy, of the universe, bringing carbon-14 to carbon-12. Now we understand there is a bigger structure when we talk about the unicos, what it is. Now we understand the tangibility of it. And this is why in all the teachings for years I said, if they tell us that this universe is traveling at 1 million kilometers an hour, and it's expanding, it has to expand in something. It cannot be in a vacuum. And now we understand how this creation of the creator of the fields of the structure of the universe leads to creation of even matter states in our universe through the conversion of the inertia of the unicos. The way the inertia of the universe leads to creation of what we call carbon-12, intangibility, field strength. Now we understand better view of the world of creation. And if you look at the bottom line in this line here, then you see you have as much connection to the creator and the original plasma as the universes and the unicoses which he created. As Rick just showed us, those two plasmas next to each other on the table was explained the childish way 10 years ago. Now you are more educated, we can speak deeper, even though you're still children of the knowledge of the universe. You understand a little bit more. Within the systems which we have developed, we already, unknowing to our knowledge seekers, work in a dimension of carbon-16. You have to understand, there is a huge difference between carbon-16 and oxygen-16. But in the plasmatic condition of the transformation of the space, then it raises the question, how come man, how come this planet works on the field strength of 16 in the gaseous plasma state? Now we understand the connection. Where I always said magnetic gravitational field of the gaseous condition is 16, because plasma is a gaseous, is the free energy of the universe. So the universe works on the same basis. Now you can see how we are connected to the universe and the unicos without us knowing. Now we have the knowledge, we understand. Then when we go for transmutation, you go for confirmation, and you don't see your physicality, but you're present, you understand why. Because you have not managed to interact with the inertia of the environment. You could be in the unicos, as you don't interact, there is no inertial level for you to convert, because you haven't understood the process of conversion is in your hand. You cannot manifest yourself in a unicos. This is why when you came to the, what we call lens, I used to tell you, can you go to the moon? And you all went, but your moon is not the moon we talk about as we know. As the second astronaut supposedly landed on the moon, in many lectures I said, we never went to the moon. It was all made up. So we have to take it with a pinch of salt, what this guy is talking about. As we all know, he denies ever being there, and even tells us pictures that you can see the cameraman taking pictures. So mechanically, we have managed to send machines. Physically, we haven't managed to transport man to the moon, man to the Mars, because we have not understood the cycle of conversion. It's very strange how man will survive in the space. Would we go and do the communication line of the physicality on a jetliner or a rocket? Or do we go through the position transformation of the creation the way the creator has done? He sends his fields, interacts with everything else, creates its own universes, creates its own galaxies, creates its own stars, creates its own planets, creates its own creatures by just stepping down by inertia. Which inertia, in a way, if you talk about it, is the interaction between the matter state and the energy state, which the scientists of the math have not even understood that part. They just call it inertia. But how is it created? It's very simple. When you talk about the salt is an inertial system. It's connection between a metal, which is a deeper than a non-metal. Sodium chloride, the salt you drink, you eat every day. Metal, chlor, non-metal. Connection of it creates a salt. Gravity. The same goes for the inertia of the universe. We have to find the salt of the universe. We have to find
Quindi la connessione con questa.
Or we have to find the Italians which jump in everywhere. They are a different race. God knows where they came from, but they're always nice to have. In this process, we have to understand where the inertia comes, what inertia means. What does inertia means from the soul of the creator, which connects to us as a soul of us, and how through the connection of the fields of the transportation through carbon-14 and carbon-16 takes us to the position which is the connection still to the soul of the creator. Now we see a purpose for life. We see a purpose in existence of the man, and we see a purpose how we are part of and is part of us as a creator. In a way, you are the builder and you are the residents of the same building as you build yourself. Where the building is built by the interaction of fields of the creator in a dimension of the higher strength, and you are the residents through the interaction of the lower level. Then the science of creation now makes sense for the first time. The question comes, which is we answered in later time when you are educated more, maybe in another 10 years, when we get to 1,400 or 500, most probably Rick and me are still here, then we speak about our unicos being part of the bigger structure. Then that topic brings back a new dimension of knowledge. Then we understand the process of the creation and how through what we call inertia to a matter state as the plasmas of the higher level by interaction of the fields of the earth and the sun and the moon in interaction with the inertia of the planet earth converts into the matter gold, silver, everything else. This is why we increase volume. The same position is, this is why our universe is expanding. This is why our unicos in a dimension of magnetical fields of the creator is expanding into, because if there's a unicos, it has to have a size, it has to have a containment, it has to have something which confirms its existence. In a way, the man is a cell of, let's say, the kidney. And then this universe of us is a section of the kidney, and then a kidney is inside the body of something. So we call it the unicos, that kidney. What is, which is the holder of that kidney? What is in macro is in micro. Then, if you understand this process of conversion, if you understand this process of deliverance of the fields of the creator, what is direct and what is non-direct in the interaction of the fields of, then you understand when I tell you, when we've been teaching, that if you understood this line of connection from the creator by the hydrogen to the hydrogen as a matter, then the creator becomes the fundamental plasma, which from its interaction with other fields in its creation, as we see, we call it the nuclear decay, splitting fundamental plasma into electron and proton, leads to creation of universes of its own order and releases energy which feeds the others. Then you understand how beautiful it is when you're a nuclear physicist, when you understand the intricacy of the creation through looking at an atom. Through an atom, you find the creator. You don't become not believing, but you become the true believer in understanding what you believe in. And this is the secret of the creation. There is no anomaly in it. There is no misunderstanding. Because we do not become without believing in creator, or God you call it, but we understand the process of the creation, that then we believe more in what it is the reality than what is the fallacy. And this is where, once you as knowledge seekers understand this, becomes the end of false belief, all the lies we've been indoctrinated with. Because now you understand the process. You understand conversion of the fields of the universe, the creator in a direct line as a fundamental plasma becomes me, and in the interaction of the fields of it with itself creates a dimension of the size of the universe on the carbon-14, and the interaction of the plasma of the carbon-14 again on a higher strength with the field of the creator becomes carbon-16, but in a way of the dimension, it gives it the dimension of communication. So you make it and you communicate with it to confirm the existence of. Isn't this what we do? We get created, we have no communication, we learn a language, then we communicate, we confirm our existence, and then we transfer our knowledge to another through the line of communication. And this is the way the creator communicates his knowledge to us, but man, being ignorant, has denied everything, and the religious people have paid to the game that you play the fool, we play the master. When you understand this, they don't tell us that God doesn't exist because you become this and that. God exists, but we understand the beauty of his existence through the science, through knowledge, and not through fallacy. Now, with this simple picture, simple explanation, now you understand why I keep on telling you you're connected to the creator. But the creator has made a place for manifestation of you, which is through a process of the higher order to a lower order, which creates what we call inertia, that leads to the creation manifestation of you. You don't understand it, go back to the egg and the sperm, why one has got one something extra than the other, that the interaction leads to creation of the man, the child, the baby, the fetus. The lower comes from the creator. The higher is a dimension of higher order physicality. The interaction of the two needs to create what we call cross point, common denomination, you call it inertia, which in that process both can come to confirm the existence. It leads to creation of the manifestation of physicality, the child. So is the creation of the man from the interaction of the physical dimensions of the plasmas of the creator and the dimension of environment he created himself, which we call virgin birth, life. And there is a virgin birth across the universe. Because if you understand the process of interaction of the fields, then you understand the totality of the process of creation. I bake the cake, but I put the ingredients in, how that cake will be, how it will taste. I made the frame, how that cake will look. Heart shape, square, rectangle, circle, but it's the same dough. It's me who decides in which pot to put it in. One becomes Earth, the other pot becomes Mars, the other pot becomes another galaxy in the universe. Now, maybe for the first time you understand the ambiguity and which is being created around creation because nobody ever understood. Now you understand. And from now on, you decide when you manifest, when you transmute, what inertia I need, because that inertia is dictated by the emotion of the man. My soul wants to be, my energy pack wants to be in New York, but I'm scared to leave my house. I talk big, I want to go, but really I don't want to, because going to New York, I need to create dimension extension of the energy inertia of the New York, and I'm manifested there. This is why most of you cannot manifest physically. It's a lack of trust, because you have not understood the process of the creation. Now you understand. The old song says, wherever I put my head is my home. Wherever the field of the creator goes, makes his own home. Does not matter in the body of the man, in the galaxy, in the universe, in the universe. You have to decide where the home is, and you create the environment of the house to home. When you travel with your body into another position, what you call a dream, you're a house traveler. When you manifest yourself, you're in a home. And home is where the love is, not in the house. Needs interaction with the lover, with the creator, to confirm his existence. This is what we call mitra, confirmation of the love of the creator for itself. Now, why I brought these teachings up in past few weeks? Because many of you knowledge seekers have started transmuting through the soul, but you don't know how to manifest yourself. Now you understand why. And now we understand why we teach you about emotion. Emotion is that inertia. Emotion of trust in the creator and not yourself. And you will manifest. Detachment. From attachment to this planet, to this physical life, brings you the emotion, which is the inertia needed for manifestation. I remember talking about this in depth a few years ago, when John Belagan was sitting in front of me. And I explained to him, John, why you cannot do, because of the situation you put yourself in. And that will not happen because of. He said, I understand. And this is the biggest burden on me. Attachment to the emotion does not allow us to go through the transmutation in a way, become detached, to be attached to the trust of the creator. If you understand today's teaching, I opened another door in the science of creation. I opened this door deliberately because many of you are in the process of transmutation, but you cannot manifest in the dimension because you have not understood the emotion of trust in the creator and not in the created, which is you. Then you understand, next time you transmute, when you manifest, are you really on the moon of the man? Or on the moon of another galaxy, on the moon of another universe, and God knows where. But you still survive. You still interact. And if you create the dimension of the energy of the creator and the energy of the communication or transportation line of the creator, you'll achieve producing what you call you are. Which, in fact, your body itself is a UFO as itself, but has an inertial attachment to this planet. Then, if you change that inertial attachment, which is the emotion of the creation, to another strength, the universe is your oyster. Then you understand the process of creation, which is me as a ray of the light of the creator, because it hasn't finished in me. I'm that hydrogen, but it's still in plasma, so I can carry on with. Leads to manifestation of the love of the creator, leads to manifestation of the emotion of the love of the creation, and then you understand the love of Mitra, which in fact is the emotion of the creator, which led to the creation of itself in the dimension of the physicality and manifestation of the man, or any creature in the universe, as man is not the only living things in the universe, with intelligence and with the order of reproduction. Now you understand more about yourself and about the process of creation, and not what they tell us. This guy is godless, he doesn't believe in God. We believe in God, but we understand what God is and what it leads to the creation of, to confirm his existence. Atheism doesn't come out of not believing in God. Atheism comes from understanding the process of the creation, that no ether, no ethics can come in between the man and his creator. Or you call it ether, the rest. We go for a break. And I think this teaching of today will need thousands of years for man to be understood. And as more men understand, the more we realize how beautiful the creation is and how loving the creator is, that with all the beauty in his field, still sits and watches the man to grow the rest of his creation. We go for a break, and we come back. And hopefully we'll go somewhere new.